Surf-a-brony. I don't know what that means, surf-a-brony. But you have a question about not rising to trash talk from your opponent. Interesting situation. So apparently, Surf plays this guy and he's killing him first set 6-2. And comes up to him and he says, "You are the biggest pusher I have ever played." The biggest. Face to face now. I have to admit, I've never had anyone trash talk me to my face. I've had people trash talk across the court. That's very common. Like, they start yelling and screaming, and then while they're yelling and screaming, "This is not tennis! This guy does not play!" or "This guy sucks! Get your game together!" You know, they normally say stuff like that. And that's interesting. But to me, I'm winning, man. You can say whatever you want. You're just making a spectacle out of yourself. I once played a guy in the 30s and over junior vet tournament on center court. I once played a guy, junior vet, center court, Hickam. I was a pro at Hickam. And everybody, they put me in center court because he went to finals. And this guy was killing me. I was rallying with him. I was playing the net. He was passing me. I was having a hard time. And on one point, I just barely got to the ball. Ball barely goes over the net. Comes on a crappy drop shot. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm playing D. He runs with the net and he hits his approach shot to bottom net. Now I went, And it was like 3-1, 4-1-ish. So then, next point, I hit a drop shot. Comes up the net, bottom net. I'm like, Next point, screw it. I'm not going to rally with this guy anymore. I hit a decent return. His first shot, drop shot. Comes to the net. Finally gets a report in. I'm like, okay, let's see how the volley. Hit the ball right to him in the volley. Boom, bottom net. I'm like, this guy can't volley. He has no approach shot. And, you know, I'm playing smart tennis. So I forgo my ground stroking game and my attacking net game. I go to a drop shot game. I just keep bringing him in, He throws his racket, he starts swearing, he starts yelling, this is not tennis, this guy can't hit, and he's saying all these things to me, and I'm just laughing. And everyone thinks he's an idiot. That's how you normally deal with trash talk, but when it's face-to-face like that, it'd be really hard not to react. I might say something really snide back. The better response is not to rise to the occasion. It's like responding to the audience. You should never, ever respond to a heckler in a crowd. I've responded and it never worked out good for me. And honestly, in tennis, you focus on the court and your opponent on the court. Because you know your opponent might be playing you, and then heckler comes up, and you respond to heckler, and now you're divided. You're responding to heckler and opponent. It'd be really difficult to win. At least for me, it's very difficult to win. I've responded to my opponent and start yelling and screaming back, and it takes me out of my game. But be careful. Some people play better when you heckle. Like, I used to be a talker. I used to love to talk. So when people heckle me, I heckle back, and it's not a problem. And it would calm me down. It makes me relax. So mentally, you have to find out what works for you, and you have to observe what works for your opponent. For some opponents, it's very difficult for them to play if you're too friendly. Or it's very difficult for them to play if you're too aggressive. But for some people, they like that, you know, and you gotta kind of meld that part of your game with your game. Let me continue to read. Yeah, so basically, the question was, how do you respond to trash talking in your match, in your mental state? My suggestion to you is you, 1, ignore it if it's not in your best interest to play better. 2, give a snide remark back, but you might look bad too. But if it's just the two of you and your friends, it could be friendly banter. I do very well with friendly banter. 3, never get involved with trash talk from outside the court. That's just a slippery slope. You can't win. Because you can't win. You're not playing that person. You deal with the person on the court. You can't deal with the person outside the court. It's totally like, the person outside the court might not even be able to play. You know, it's not a non-factor. And generally speaking, if you just ignore them, they look like such an idiot that they just go away. And that's generally what happens. Lastly, on the issue of mental toughness, you have to find out what works for you. And over time, I've discovered I play best when I'm a little angry. And it's hard to play like that during social tennis. You know, and that's not a situation you want to be in. Because there's a difference between social tennis and competitive tennis. Social tennis is like, you got to call that ball in, man, and you got to play nice. Social tennis, you have to play the ball in. You have to be nice. You can't go all out and go crazy. Guys that play competitive tennis when I'm playing social tennis, to me, that's silly. We're not in a tournament, but I can flip the switch. I can be a competitive tennis player. Like, you hit the ball at me, I can hit the ball at you. I have no problem with that. You know, but there is fine lines to that. I mean, where do you want to go? Because generally speaking, if you're a social tennis player that plays super competitive, after a while, no one wants to play with you. Because that's how I feel. I actually chose not to play tennis last night because the guy that plays super competitive, and he cheats all the time. And I said to myself, I just don't want to deal with it tonight. I'd rather just go home. So I went home. So in the terms of dealing with other people, don't deal with it. Just go home. I mean, is it really worth it? One of the best quotes to deal with any issues when you're playing, are you getting paid a lot of money to play? I thought tennis was just a game. Games are meant to be fun. I want to have fun. And ironically, I used to have a friend that used to get really angry when he played all the time. And we were in high school. So you know, high school you tend to get like that. And my way of dealing with it was, our way of dealing with it as a team was we just laugh. And so sometimes when I'm playing people and they're getting all annoyed and upset, I just laugh. For example, like the game, I actually had to turn around and face my back to him because I was laughing so hard at this guy who was 30 years old and acting like he was 12 years old. You know, and I mean, if someone trash talks to you and you laugh at them, I mean, what are they going to say? Seriously. You're beating them, they're trash talking you, and you're laughing at them. You probably would make them angry, you know. But remember, tennis is just a game. Games are meant to be fun.